This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shishina Rolla. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news: a mega touristic investment proposed for the island of Grand Bahama. The man behind it all, Australian investor Steve Bell, says the development plans will be officially presented to the relevant authorities in the coming days. He says the condo-tel concept on tap for the Coral Beach area should begin to unfold next year. Megan Shepard has our top story.
It is projected to be a unique development for the island of Grand Bahama that will deliver a breath of fresh air for both visitors and residents. Developer of Ascot Grand Bahama, Steve Bell, says the first-class development will sit on 18 acres and offer luxury unmatched.
The Ascot project is a development of 5 beachfront towers, labyrinth garden villas in the center, and a marina development. It also has a 3-level dining area, general store, clubhouse, reception areas, and that orchard I mentioned before.
Bell says he believes Grand Bahama is the hidden gem of the archipelago, and this development will show off the island in a new light.
Grand Bahama it's like an undiscovered jewel. It has incredible infrastructure. It's a great island. It's just off the coast of Florida. It has everything going for it. Yet for some reason nobody knows about it. So from a development perspective, it's prime.
The project will take place in 4 stages over a 4-year period. He says they hope to have the first stage completed within 2 years, but there is still a lot of work to be done.
We've been talking with the Port Authority and a little bit with the government. We should have development applications in next week. Well, that's the game at the moment. But with projects like this, you always find something you want to tweak, something you want to improve on, and everything on this project has to be perfect to follow its theme and everything else. So we should be ready for pre-construction sales December or January. And then from there, it depends on how it meets the market as to when we break ground.
Now, as many are concerned about the state of the economy here on Grand Bahama, Bell says this project is estimated to cost well into the hundreds of millions of dollars.
The investment into the project to get it going and to complete it from beginning to end, including Tim Tibbitt's restaurants and everything else, will probably come to about $400 million.
Bell addressing the business community early Wednesday morning at the Rotary Club of Sunrise meeting. Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Well, meantime, new developers are seeking to purchase the Port Lakaya Marketplace. A statement issued late this afternoon by Peter Hunt of Bahama Land Investments Limited notes that the investment group sees tremendous potential as it relates to the acquisition of the Port Lakaya Marketplace, a facility that has a rich history and is considered a local and touristic treasure. According to the statement, the investment group continues to dialogue and cooperate with the Bahamas government to have the Port Lakaya deal materialized. The potential investors say they are committed to this island's positive growth and development and are confident in the revival of its new rebounding economy. But the group says that they do not intend to carry out business by way of the media, but they only want to make it known that they remain committed to the purchase and transformation of the Port Lakaya Marketplace. In other news, the island of Grand Bahama, the site of an historic facility which recently opened its doors on this northern island. Today, members of the business community heard from the man behind the vision for stem cell research and health treatment. John Davis Roll reports.
A man with less than a high school education and no formal training in biology has defied the odds, making history here in the Bahamas.
First, I'm uniquely unqualified to be here right now. I barely graduated from high school. I didn't go to college, and no joke, my worst subject was biology.
The odds, which he says, were initially stacked against a highly controversial state-of-the-art health center. In his first public address since the opening of the Okeanos Heart Institute and Stem Cell Research Center, founder and chief executive officer Matthew Fishbach told members of the Rotary Club of Lakaya that establishing a presence of this magnitude in the Bahamas has been a challenge.
Well, wow, if you could take this technology and you could bring it to patients who had heart disease like this or these other conditions, make it convenient, do it in a country that spoke English, convenient to the U.S., had a real rule of law, that would be awesome. So we got very delayed. Some of you may have driven by First Caribbean and seen, like, what's happening there? They stopped construction, and that's what happened. And we ran out of money 2 or 3 times, and it was brutal. It was absolutely a drama. But the good thing is I had an investor group which included Bahamians and Europeans and Americans, and they saw the purpose of what we were doing, and they continued to fund it. Not always easy, but they continued to fund it. New guys would come in, and we made it through that, and the regulations were passed in August.
Fishback described the multi-million-dollar Okeanos Center, located in the commercial center on the Mall of Freeport, as a place for miracles.
So the great thing is that we were able to open 2 weeks ago here and not only do heart disease, which is the biggest killer in the Western world and has been for 100 years, but we've treated a patient for multiple sclerosis. We've had a patient here on island who had very severe Parkinson's, and as of today, he's no longer using a walker. Now he's got to be out further to declare victory. That's a hell of a lot better than where he was when he couldn't get himself out of bed. We've also treated now 4 or 5 of these cardiac patients. Great feedback from them, but they're really relying on new blood flow, and that takes longer to really know how much benefit they'll get, but there's really no downside to this.
He confirmed that the center, which is now up and running, is also providing jobs to some Bahamians. However, he noted that there is a lack of trained personnel in this highly specialized field.
I think we're over 30, maybe 35 Bahamians that are working for us, either through a contracted service or us directly. We have 4 or 5 American medical professionals, 1 American salesperson, and the real deficit here for us was because there's really no cardiac practice in the Bahamas except a small one at Doctor's Hospital. You don't find cardiovascular techs or very many interventional cardiologists in the Bahamas.
Joan Davis-Roll, ZNS Network News.
In other news, a new president was elected to lead the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce today, and topping his agenda is the implementation of value-added tax and the expiration of the Hawksbill Creek Agreement's tax exemption provision in 2015. Once the votes were tallied, Kevin D. Seymour emerged president of the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce. He beat out Dylan Knowles for the top post. Seymour, the chief financial officer with PharmaChem, is a licensee of the Bahamas Institute of Chartered Accountants and currently serves on the VAT committee. The newly elected president says now that election is over, it is time to get down to business.
At the top of the agenda, VAT. In terms of timing, we're expecting that to be implemented. The Grand Bahama Chamber is still concerned with the treatment under the current legislation with respect to services provided between licensees. We believe that it should be treated the same way as goods, and we will continue to agitate for that.
But he says the chamber has another major concern.
We would like to see those exemptions extended through the year 2054. Naturally, the government would want to have a quid pro quo situation whereby the GBPA and DEVCO may have to commit to doing certain works and undertakings as they did in 1993 when it was extended before. But we look forward to working with both parties in terms of coming to a solution that is beneficial to the business community here in Grand Bahama.
Dylan Knowles will serve as vice president. Second vice president is Larry Albury. Christopher Baker is the treasurer, and Dan Romance is secretary. Outgoing president Barry Malcolm says he is proud of the 2 years he has spent at the helm of the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce. He says it was not always easy, but there were many successes.
I can say from hard experience that some of the exchanges were rough. It was not an easy ride, and I thank you for keeping us focused, keeping us on track, and having the commitment and engagement and courage to just speak your minds on all the issues. There were many times I did not agree, but out of those disagreements came consensus, and I think the best of what we as business people could offer in the circumstances at this time for the future of Freeport.
5 new directors were also elected: Angelica Christie, Ralph Hanna, Charles Pratt, Godfrey Waugh, and Lanicia Darville. Well, 6 witnesses taking the stand during day 2 of testimony in the Christopher Outten murder trial. Among the witnesses giving evidence, 4 police officers who were assigned to the case, a neighbor to the Outens, and an acquaintance of one of the accused. Now, the victim's wife, Anna Outten, also gave evidence. Businessman Christopher Outten was shot, killed, and robbed outside of his home in Deadman's Reef in January of last year. Valentino Bethel and Natalia Watkins are accused of killing Outten, robbing him and his wife, as well as conspiracy to rob. Harrison Watkins and Shabargo Colley, aka Sean Colley, are accused of armed robbery and conspiracy to rob. The case resumes tomorrow morning. Stay with us, there's more news on the other side of the break.
Bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition.
Welcome back. This is World Diabetes Month. Diabetes is the 5th leading cause of death due to its related complications. There has been a dramatic increase in the amount of locals living with the disease since 2009. Yet the World Diabetes Committee continues its mandate to educate the public in reducing the risk of diabetes.
Having a month of activities for World Diabetes Day, which starts from October 31st, and we feel as though it's going to be an exciting day. We're going to be there from 12 to 5 in the Churchill Square.
As the admissions nurse, we've been seeing many cases of diabetes, type 1 and type 2, come into the hospital for frequent admissions. Diabetes accounts for the 2nd most hospital admissions locally, and it's the 5th leading cause of death due to complications from the same. Presently, we are seeing type 2 diabetics from the ages of 25 to 65 come into hospital, both men and women, as well as type 1 diabetes in children, about 20% of our population. So diabetes affects everyone, if not directly, indirectly, because of family and friends.
The theme for this year's observance is Combating the New Era of Diabetes. The committee has an interesting lineup of events planned for the month of November.
The Diabetes Committee continues in their mandate to educate the public in reducing their risk for diabetes. We are inviting the general public and corporate Grand Bahama to participate in the following activities as we go blue for the month of November. Every Friday is Go Blue Wear t-shirts. Shirts are available on sale. We encourage every business on the island to go blue, decorate your office, decorate your cars, even put a blue bow on your pets.
This year we are encouraging the community to really partner with us with these initiatives that we have for the month. The activities really are geared towards sensitizing our community as to the impact of diabetes on their health, but not only their health, how it impacts our healthcare system, and what persons in the community can do to really assist us with reducing those outcomes, both as it relates to mortality and morbidity.
Well, the Grand Bahama Port Authority's Keep Grand Bahama Clean October campaign coming to a close on a positive note. Rangers from the Southern Community Ecotourism Association were given waste bins and holding areas courtesy of Bradford Marine Bahamas. The donation is said to be a part of a larger campaign to promote a clean environment in the southern communities that include Pinder's Point Hunters, Lewis Yard, Mactown, and Mermaid Pond. Now, the donation was made at the Pinder's Point Lighthouse and Shipwreck Amusement Park grounds.
In containing the garbage that is at times spread all over the place, the dogs would knock the garbage bins down, and so by using these retaining units, it's a way for them to keep the garbage contained until the garbage truck comes by to pick them up.
Preserving these type of landmarks is one of the key ingredients of attracting tourists. The garbage bins were being pulled down over there, and we're happy to donate some of the safety bars, the safety containments for the garbage bins to keep them from being blown down or dogs pulling them down and trash all over the place. And we were very happy to help out with that, and pleased that we were able to assist in the preservation of this landmark and this historical site.
The Southern District, particularly the old lighthouse, is becoming a popular heritage tourism site. But Olethea Zonical from the Keep Grand Bahama Clean Committee says they want to spread the message that a clean community is important not only for the visitors, but for the residents who also live there.
And with these natural sites and heritage sites, we know that, the Bahamas itself is a touristic nation, and we know that we have a lot of visitors come into the site, and one of the things that we don't want them to focus on is the garbage around the area. So we wanted to ensure that they keep Grand Bahama clean, to keep our islands clean. One thing travels fast is good news and bad news, and we don't want the Bahamas to be highlighted for the garbage that we have as opposed to the natural beautiful sites that we do have.
Well, that's a look at stories making news this evening. Stay with us. Ricardo Lightborn has a check on sports when we come back.
I'm Ricardo Lightborn. Welcome to Sports, everybody. This one tonight goes out to Cheryl Lightborn, who is celebrating today, and my brother down there in Nassau, Rupert Gardner, who needs to stay off that flit you on. Whatever you want, don't take no more of it, okay? The Focal Tennis Tournament was a point event for the BLTA, and also the response from these young guys that came here to play was kind of positive. The Focal Tennis Tournament played at Lucaya Bath and Racket Club was competitive from the first serve. Bahamas Lawn Tennis Association sanctioned event and points for the players. The players' reaction was kind of interesting for the most part and fun to hear.
I feel good about this year's tournament because it's a warm-up for the Under-12s Championships in Mexico next week. And in my matches, I've been going for my shots and, playing like I have nothing to lose.
My matches went well so far. I got knocked out in second or third. How I feel about the tournament, I think the tournament was a great experience.
My matches so far, I feel like I've played aggressively and I've been going more for my shots than normally, but I think I could improve on some areas, like maybe not overpowering the ball as much.
The boys were just as enlightening as the girls, and they all enjoyed playing the Focal.
I think I played well. I just did not get a good strategy, and I didn't keep too much balls in play.
My matches so far was good. I played very aggressive. My first serve was working. I made less errors, and my ball positioning was pretty good.
This is my first year at the tournament. I feel that I played well, and my serve was good. And I think that I can improve in my game in some areas. But overall, this has been a good experience for me.
The Focal Tennis Tournament lived up to its billing. Tennis excitement. I gotta say to Vernon Martinberg, congratulations. At your age, you're still celebrating. I don't understand that. But anyhow, that's from your sister, Natalie. That's a look at the sports. Quickest 2 minutes in the Bahamas.